Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. I am excited to be with you tonight. We're going to be talking about Chat GPT. So I'm going to let a few people come on in and we're going to get started. I hope that you have found me on my YouTube channel. I'll be looking for comments and interaction. If you're watching later, let me know that you watched it on my YouTube later. And above all, please, please, please hit the subscribe and notify. The subscribe and notify. It's just a quick, right? You can do it. So let me know when you're in. I'm going to see if I can see you on my other device. Let me see if I can see you. I should be able to. Let me see. On my other device. Yeah, okay. There we are. All right. I'm going to see if any comments are going to be coming through so I can check them on my phone. I have notes and hopefully everyone will be able to get on. So when you come in, let me know if you have used Chat GPT. Or you can also let me know what you're most interested in about Chat GPT. All right. Let me know if you've used Chat GPT or what you are most interested in using it for. Why are you here this evening? What is it that you're interested in? We're going to be talking about the basics of Chat GPT. I should say I'm not a Chat GPT expert, but I love learning and I love figuring out these new technology things. So I do a lot of trainings over on my Jewelry Bella Bling by Natalie YouTube channel for specifically for direct sales and consulting. Consultants rather in the paparazzi accessories jewelry business, but over here on Homeschool Natalie Mack, I do a lot of, I'll be doing even more trainings and workshops and talks. Probably the bulk of it will be on homeschooling, but a lot of it may come in to items like Chat GPT. So when you're in, say hello, make some comments, put some comments so I know that you are here. All right. You said, I want to learn all this new coffee and cream. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for popping on. Thank you for popping on. I am hoping that this will be recorded onto my YouTube channel. So I appreciate those that are here so far. We will be having quite a bit of a discussion about Chat GPT. There is a lot of concern about Chat GPT, and I just want to give you a perspective that I have for you to consider. All right. But I will say that there's so much more to learn than will be covered tonight with this training. And so maybe I will come back and do further training on it if you all ask. Or other trainings as well. I love to do that. I am a 23-year veteran home educator. We've graduated 4 to college and we have an 11th grader to go. So definitely subscribe and hang out and come back for more. And I do have my contact info in the description of this YouTube channel. So if you have any questions about homeschooling or you need any consultations, you can message me and I will be sure to get back to you. Okay. So hopefully we'll have people coming on. I want to go ahead and get started and respect those who are here. All right. So, and hopefully, like I said, this is being recorded. This is my first time using StreamYard to stream directly into my YouTube channel. So we will see how that goes. I want to talk a little bit before I pull up the Chat GPT screen, and we're going to talk through that in a little bit. Okay. So Chat GPT, it doesn't replace you. Okay. It doesn't replace you. That means that the information that you get from using Chat GPT doesn't replace your brain, your mind. So you do have to look over the information. It needs to be something that makes sense to you. It is a bot, right? Meaning a robot. So it doesn't replace you. It just helps you do things simpler, more efficiently, right? It saves you a whole lot of time, but it does not replace you. So that's the first thing that I want to say. It does not replace you. All right. So when you're coming on in, let me know you're coming in. So the second thing is that if you have a lack of time to do research, then Chat GPT can get you going. Again, you're going to put in prompts, you're going to ask it questions, and you're going to understand from the beginning that you're going to have to look through the information. You're going to have to look through the data that it gives you, just like you would have to in any situation. If you were talking to someone about something and they gave you information, you would still do some research. You would still need to do your due diligence to make sure that what they were giving you, the information they were giving to you, was adequate, was accurate, was sufficient. All right. So again, it doesn't replace you. I always think of it as like a combination of a writer and a researcher, kind of like that kind of combo between a writer and a researcher. All right. So there are Chat GPT. Let me back up. Chat GPT is what's called AI, all right, artificial intelligence. AI. So a lot of times you hear Chat GPT, sometimes you hear AI, and it's like, okay, are they totally different? Well, AI is the big category, it's the umbrella, all right? Chat GPT is one raindrop. Basically, it's one thing in that umbrella. Thanks for coming on in. Make sure you all subscribe and say hi. Let me know who's watching. Say in the comments. Okay. So is Chat GPT the same as AI? Sort of, but AI is huge. And there's so many forms of artificial intelligence or AI. So let me say that many of us, I don't want to assume everybody that's watching or will watch later, I don't want to assume that everybody uses AI in their life right now, but many of us do. Okay. If you have a smartphone, which most people do, except my dear dad who passed in November of 2021, and he was still using a flip phone, right? But most of us have smartphones. Smartphones are forms of artificial intelligence. And what do you have on that smartphone? If it's an Apple, let's say if it's an iPhone, what do you have that is already artificial intelligence that you are probably using? Maybe you aren't using, maybe you don't know you have that, but Siri, right? Hey Siri, and then it lights up, right? Artificial intelligence. What do many people, what is something that many people already have in their home? Alexa, right? Google Home. What do you say? Hey, Alexa, tell me what the weather's going to be. Or, hey, can you give me a recipe for a chocolate cake? Or can you give me a recipe for, you know, I don't know, sweet potato casserole, right? Or, hey, Alexa, can you tell me how many hours it would take to get from, Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, California, right? We're using AI already. It's already part of what most of us use. So Chat GPT is just basically another form, right? So that's just my perspective on it. Again, this is a training, a workshop on the basics of Chat GPT. I'm not an expert, but I do love to share what I learned. And I want you all to interact and comment so that if you have questions, you can put them in the comments of the YouTube. Make sure, again, that you have hit subscribe, please. I'm not charging, but I would like if you would just hit subscribe, right? And you can share this out as well. So I already talked about that Chat GPT is a bot, which is short for robot. I already talked about it. Hey, Tina. Ciao, Bella. So I already talked about that. I already talked about that AI means artificial intelligence and that Chat GPT is one form of AI and that many of us already use several forms of AI in our daily life, like on an iPhone with Siri or Alexa or Google Home, Google Assistant. And we're going to talk and show you how to use Chat GPT in a minute. All right. Those are some basics that I want to say. Now, Chat GPT can do so many things because it's a bot, right? It's programmed to do so many things. It can answer questions just like Alexa can. It can help you learn just like Alexa can and Siri, right? It can write code. You can brainstorm together if you kind of like trying to figure out what's the best between, doing something this way or that way, right? All kinds of things and so much more. So there are some cautions. The first caution I would say is do not share sensitive information. The chat history may be reviewed or used to improve Chat GPT. Learn more about it in their help center on Chat GPT. So don't share sensitive information. They are still improving, advancing, and they are tapping in to see how people are using it and how responsive it is. So don't put sensitive information, just like on Facebook, right? Okay. That's the first caution. The second caution I already referenced, but I'll go detailed. Hi, everyone. Thanks for popping on. Check your facts. You can say hello in the comments. So if you have questions, all right, and make sure you subscribe, please. So check your facts. I talked about this at the beginning. While we do have safeguards, meaning Chat GPT has some safeguards, right? It still may give inaccurate information. It's not intended to give advice. Big caution. Big caution. It's not intended to give advice. So some advice, some things you may ask for in terms of needing advice that I would say I would not ask for it with Chat GPT, like medical information, important, serious things that you really need to go to an identified expert professional for that, right? Now, do you want to ask some general medical kinds of things? Maybe, yes. Okay, it's just like Googling some medical things. Although that can get you in a lot of trouble, Googling things like that, because you can go from, oh, I think it's a cold to like, I have pneumonia in my lungs, right? So you just have to be smarter than the bot, right? Okay, so the fact that it may give inaccurate information is another thing. Again, it doesn't replace you. It doesn't replace your mind. It doesn't replace your ability to fact check, right? So don't just believe everything it gives, lock, stock, and barrel. Is that right? I'm terrible with my cliches. Don't just do that. But it is very useful, and a lot of the information is very accurate. To me, it's like going to Google and asking questions and all the research that will pop up, right, in response. You would have to click each one and review it, and click the next one and review it. Chat GPT does all that for you. And I think like, hey, what a time saver. But again, just like on Google, if I clicked on each one of those and looked at that content that was given from Google in response to my query, I would have to think, is this accurate or not, right? So you kind of want to think about Chat GPT that way, all right? Most of it is accurate, but there are some things that are not. So let me go on. If you have any questions, I'm checking the chat too, so please, okay? And let me know if this is making sense. Is this good content? Is it helpful? Let me know. So it also works very good. It works best, is what I should say, when you know what you want. Now, can you play around on it? Sure. I love to get on Chat GPT and play around. I love it. But when you really need certain information, it really works best when you know what you want. Like when you go into a store to shop and one of the staff employees says, oh, how can I help you? Well, I'm looking for a scarf. Okay. Are you looking for a spring, like a spring scarf? Or are you looking for like a winter scarf? Like, now if you go in and they'll say, well, are you looking for a blue scarf for the winter or a green scarf for the spring? Or, are you looking for a long one that you can drape or just one you can tie and kind of knot? Like, you see where I'm going, right? So if you go into that same store and say, hey, I'm looking for a green scarf for the spring. I want to be able to drape it over a dress. And for the spring, obviously, I want it to be lightweight. You see the difference. That employee can say, we don't have that yet, or we have something similar, or let me show you what we have that fits what you just said you want. Okay, so Chat GPT is the same. It works best when you know what you want, because you're going to be putting in things, and the more you can put in specifically about what you want, the better it will give a response. It's just like Google. I love training on Google on search engine optimization. I'm not an expert with that either, but over on my Bella Bling by Natalie YouTube channel, I train a lot on Shopify and Google and Facebook business pages and profiles and groups and stuff. And I love doing that. So this is my first time doing a training over here like this. So I appreciate you all coming on. So if you don't know what you want, because maybe that's why you're using Chat GPT, because you just want to like see what it can do, right? Then lower your expectations until you do. Lower your expectations until you do. I've had people say, oh, I tried ChatGPT and it didn't work, or it didn't give me anything. Well, that's hard for me to like believe, because it's a bot. It's going to give you a whole lot. So then I start to wonder, like, what did you put in? Was it accurate? Was it whatever, right? So once you are clearer about it, then you can be more specific and your results will show. So the other caution is that the last update was for 2021. That's what the information is on. So numerical data and things like that won't be up to date as of 2023. All right. So also there are extensions that are integrated with Google. If you go on Chat GPT on Google Chrome, you can go to the extensions, and there's lots of extensions that are free that you can integrate. One of them is called TalkBerry. It's all one word, Talk, T-A-L-K, and then Berry, B-E-R-R-Y. And it's really cool. You can integrate that extension, and it allows you to talk through. It allows you to talk the prompt, and then it responds back. Okay. And you can change the language. You can do all kinds of things. It's called TalkBerry. All right. So any questions so far? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and take us to Chat GPT, but I needed to do all of that upfront training because that is important information. So I don't see any other comments. I think everybody's still hanging in there and alive. All right. So we're going to go ahead on over. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. I'm going to change it to here, and I'm going to present. Okay, we are going. All right, so let me make sure. I'm looking back to make sure that everything changed on my, I guess my phone is a little bit behind, so I'll go ahead and I'll glance down. So, all right, so a couple of things. You want to go to, let me do this. Let me go back out. You want to go to, is it going to take me back out? No. Okay. The website that you want to go to is chat, okay, .openai.com. Chat, C-H-A-T .openai.com. Okay. And when you go to chat.openai.com, it's going to give you some ways to sign in. I sign in with my Google because I am accessing Chat GPT on Chrome and because of the extensions, right? But you can sign in, I think, with Facebook and maybe another choice. That's up to you. It doesn't matter. All right. So once you sign in, you can just go ahead and use the free version, which is what I use because it gives a whole lot of benefits. I don't need to pay yet. I don't know. Maybe one day I will. There is a paid option, but you will see here as I circle here. I'm looking here. Did the screen change? I hope you all are able to see. I'm not seeing it on my iPhone. Can somebody comment and let me know that you can see the Chat GPT screen? Can someone comment in the comments? Just say, I can see it or something, just so I know. Because I'm looking on my iPhone and I don't see. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all. Okay. Oh, there, just switched. I guess my iPhone is behind. So thank you. So when I circle up here, you see you see GPT and then 3.5, right? And you see when I hover over it, that's the fastest model. It says it's great for most everyday tasks. It's available to free as well as plus users. Plus is over here, GPT-4. And it is an upgrade, and you do have to pay for it. That's why it is locked, because I don't have it and I don't need it right now. So we're going to be using Chat GPT 3.5. That's the free version. Most people use that. All right. And I will show you that down here, okay, you have the option to click these three dots here, right? Once you set up your profile, and you can open it to settings, of course, log out, and custom instructions. Let me show you. Custom instructions. Okay, we show it here. All right, you can actually click here and learn more later. But basically, this says, what would you like Chat GPT to know about you to provide better responses? So what are they talking about? They want to know things, and you can put things here so that when they give you a response to your query, to your prompt, as it's called, when the bot responds to your prompt, it has some background information about you. It knows about you, right? And so that helps the bot do a better job in giving certain responses. Some responses, it doesn't matter who you are, anything about you. Some prompts are just general prompts that doesn't really matter, but some of them may be specific. Like if you are a content creator, or if you are a doctor or something, and you're putting in certain information, certain prompts, it would tailor the information based on what it knows about you. So these are called custom instructions, and you have the ability, you can answer, for example, you can say, where are you based? What do you do for work? What are your hobbies and interests? What subjects can you talk about for hours? Like, are you an expert about certain things? It wants to know, what are some goals that you have? This is just helps Chat GPT to give better responses to you. And then you go down to this section here, right? And how would you like the bot or Chat GPT to respond? You can tell it how you want it to respond. Do you want it to respond very formally or casually? Do you want like short snippets for responses, or do you want long? How do you want the bot to address you? And do you want Chat GPT to have opinions on topics, or do you want the bot to remain neutral? Like, you may ask certain prompts, and if it knows that you have strong beliefs about something politically, then it will tailor that, unless you tell it that you don't want it to, right? So just so you know, these are custom instructions. So we're going to go out of that. So over here in the top left, you see new chat. So I've done a few chats here, just kind of playing around with it, and I'll tell you a little bit about those. But what we're going to do is click a new chat. All right. So we can do here. And then down here it says send a message. This is your box where you type in your prompt, your question, your query, where you tell it what you want it to do. All right. So if I say this, well, let me ask this. Does anybody have a prompt that they want to play around with? They want me to type in. I have some ideas. We're just going to play around. Like I said, this is a basic Chat GPT. But does anyone have anything they want me to, or any questions you have? I'm gonna pause for a moment. I'm just looking to see if I see any comments come up. If not, I'll go ahead and put in some things. Okay, I don't see anything coming, which is totally fine. So let's just do basic. Okay. Plan, if say we're gonna do this. All right, let's just do, is something come up? Oh, surprise us, Natalie. Okay, surprise us, Natalie. All right. Okay, I see that popped up. Okay, so let's do this. So let's say that you just say plan a. Okay, let me back up first. You are talking to the bot. Okay, so you need to understand you're talking to the bot. Remember, I talked about how specific you are. Like I used the example going in the store with the scarf. You're talking to the bot. So we're going to talk generally to the bot and we're going to build on it. Okay, and you're going to see how expansive or a little bit of a vision of how expansive it can be. So we're going to talk generally. So when you're typing this in, you're talking to a bot like to a person. Okay, so you can tell it what it is so it knows who it is and gives you what you want. All right. So I'm going to tell it plan A, because I love to travel, right? Plan a trip. I'm not sure if that was a surprise or not, Tina, but plan a trip, okay, to, let's say, to Europe. Yeah, let's do that. To Europe. Plan a trip to Europe. And I'm going to go, that's all I gave it, basic, because we start with basics. And I go over here and you just click here, send a message. Here we go. Now y'all can see, look. So look how fast it goes, right? Look. So what it says is, of course, I'd be happy to help you plan a trip to Europe. To provide you with a comprehensive plan, I'll need a bit more information from you. However, I can give you a general outline to get started. Please let me know the following details. Number one, duration of your trip. How long do you plan to stay in Europe? Remember the scarf analogy, right? You don't want just a scarf, you want a spring one that's maybe green and you want it to be able to drape across your shoulders. All right. So, interests. What are your interests? Are you more into history, art, nature, adventure, or a mix of everything? Budget. What's your estimated budget for the trip? This will affect your accommodation, transportation, and activities. Starting point. Are you departing from the United States or another location? Preferred destinations. Do you have any specific countries or cities in mind that you definitely want to visit? Travel style. Are you looking for a fast paced trip with multiple destinations or a more relaxed stay in a few places? Travel date. Do you have a specific time of the year in mind for your trip? The weather can vary greatly across Europe throughout the year. And it says, finally, as a reminder, with this information, I can provide you with a more tailored itinerary and recommendations. So I knew it was basic because I wanted to show you all how to build. So now I'm going to tell it a few more things, right? Let's say, let's do number one, uh, number three, budget, and number four, starting point. Okay. So now I'm going to say, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to say, number one, how long do I plan to stay in Europe? 7 days stay. Let's see what it says. Okay. It's going to give a little bit more. Great. It says, with a 7-day stay in Europe, you'll have to be, and I'll let it go because look what it's doing, y'all. Look. So again, it will give you what you want. So if you know what you want, it gives specifics, right? So do you have to follow this itinerary? Of course not. It's about but it's helping you plan a trip to Europe. And the more specific you are, it will do so much for you that like you still have work to do because it doesn't replace you, but you have so much less work to do. And most of the information is fairly accurate. So you don't have a whole lot of concern. All right. So basically, look, so I told it 7 day stay. So it said, great, right? With a 7-day stay in Europe, you'll have to be selective about the destinations you visit because 7 days is not a lot. Europe is huge, right? Here is a sample itinerary that covers a few iconic cities and experiences. Since I don't have information about your starting point, I will assume you are departing from the United States and provide a general plan. Day one, arrival in Paris, France. It talks a little bit about that. Day two, you're still in Paris because Paris takes at least 2 days in Paris just would never be enough, right? Travel to Amsterdam, Netherlands, and none of these places, Rome, Italy, you need more. That's what it was saying. But some people don't have more. They just have a week, right? So you can deal with this and you can tweak it. So let's go back up and say we want to add low cost budget, right? And okay, let's say starting point from it assumed the United States. Let's say we're starting from Egypt. Okay, all right. So low cost budget, and what am I saying? Starting from Cairo. Okay. Look. Okay, look, wow, understood. Since you're working with a low cost budget and departing from Cairo, it's best to focus on a few destinations to minimize travel expenses. Here's a budget friendly 7-day itinerary that includes both cultural experiences and beautiful scenery. All right, arrival in Athens, Greece. Fly from Cairo to Athens, Greece, about a 2.5 hours flight time. Explore the historic city center, including the iconic Acropolis and the Parthenon. Day 2, still in Athens. Day 3, travel to Santorini, Greece, which I would love. Oh my gosh. You're there for 2 days, travel to Rome, Italy for 2 days, and then you depart. Accommodations. It says tips for traveling on a budget in Europe. And it talks about accommodations. Let's see. Accommodation. Look for budget friendly hostels, guest houses, or budget hotels. Okay. So we want to say, give me 5 budget friendly hostels in Paris. All right, y'all still with me? All right, y'all still with me? Okay, look what it came up with. Certainly, here are 5 budget friendly hostels in Paris that you might consider for your trip. Okay, St. Christopher's Inn, Canal, Generator Paris, Le Village Montmartre, Fiab Jean Monnet, and Ducks Hostel. Look, 5, right? And you can then say, oh, give me more details about number 2. Give me more, right? Details about number 2. We want to know more about Generated Paris. Look, certainly. Here are more details about Generated Paris, a budget-friendly hostel located in the 10th arrondissement of Paris. Generated Paris. It tells you all this: the neighborhood, the address, features and amenities, all the things. Does it have Wi-Fi? Yeah, that's important. Proximity to what attractions and booking and prices. Advise you, look, before making a reservation, right? It advise you to visit the official website of Generated Paris to get the most up-to-date information. So that's why I said it doesn't replace you, but it gives you so much information and it saves so much time. And you can do this for just about any subject. So do we want to play around with another subject? What questions do you all have? What questions do you all have? And if we have any homeschoolers that are on or will be watching later, I will say that I know in the homeschool community that there is concern about Chat GPT. I know in academia there is a lot of concern about Chat GPT. And I say that that is probably valid concern and that you need to govern yourself and your family accordingly. I know school teachers, principals, superintendents, and all are concerned, universities as well, about Chat GPT. The reality is it's not going anywhere. And we actually already have some form of this previously, like I referenced earlier in this talk, right? Alexa and Siri. Obviously, it can't produce written content or copy and paste content like Chat GPT, but we have some version of it. So we already know that AI is just going to be here. It's only going to continue. And so I always advocate that specifically for homeschoolers, I recommend that you at least educate your students about how to use it appropriately, educate them about some of the cautions, right? And so that they have all the information they need so that, for example, when they are launched, example, maybe post high school, they have been taught and you've had the conversation about it and and they will have the information directly from you as parents. If you don't have that conversation, they're going to get the information from other sources. They may not be accurate sources, or they may not have the perspective you want to instill in your children as their parents. So while we may not personally like where this is going, it's going, whether we like it or not, and our kids are going to be swept up in it. And as you can see, it has so many awesome, positive, time saving benefits. You just need to make sure your students, your children, know the cautions about it and age appropriate use, right? I know families who the mom will use it, right, for lesson planning, for research, for templates, for all kinds of, like, give me fun activities, or help me create fun activities for, like, the book Charlotte's Web, or anything like that, or give me notes to do a book study of Much Ado About Nothing, right, by Shakespeare. I'm just grabbing. Or can you create geography lesson plans for a study of the state of Virginia? Include small towns, big cities, include transportation, blah, blah, blah. So all of the ways that I've been kind of showing you, you can use it in the homeschool community, as well as those who are not homeschooling, for helping their kids do their schoolwork. But again, there are some cautions that I referenced earlier, and it is wise to just have the discussion with your kids about it, so that they are informed from your perspective, and then at least they have that foundation, right? So in my own business, I use it for social media prompts. I use it for my blog on my jewelry store, shopbellablingbyNatalie.com. I use it for uh, notes, that presentations that I want to give. I go through and tweak it, because this is the deal. If it's my own original thought, of course not. But for some of the presentations, right, that I may want to give in my business, as an example, they are just basic public information, and the bot allows me to save time by pulling together all of those things. But I'm going to put my own personal information, my personal spin, my personal experiences, so it's going to be mine. Just like if you were to use an encyclopedia, right? Like, who does that now, right? I love encyclopedias, but like, no one talks about them, and a lot of them are probably online, but I don't even know if students use them, right? We haven't used one in a while, but early on in our homeschool journey, we had them, right? So I just will say, it's just like that. You're going to get your information, but you're going to still create that essay. You're going to create that research paper on your own, from your own perspective as well. So it is a good starting point, right? To do so many things. And again, when you know what you want, it will give you what you want, just like going on Google, right? The more specific you are, the more specific the output. So any questions? Any questions? I'm looking here. I don't see any questions. I appreciate you all popping on. This will, I hope, live on my YouTube channel. Again, this is my first time using StreamYard to do this. So hopefully it will stay there. But if you have any questions, please comment. You know how to reach me. If you're homeschooling and you need consultations, then I do offer a free 30-minute consultation, as well as a follow-up consultations. I do help homeschool support group leaders. I mentor them. So I do have a book, 101 Tips for Homeschoolers, available on Amazon. So if you want to reach out to me, my contact info is in the description of this YouTube channel. All right. So I appreciate you all popping on. And again, this was a basics of Chat GPT. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, please comment. And above all, please make sure that even when you watch the replay, when you click the subscribe, that's just like a thank you for me doing this. All right. Share my YouTube channel out to the homeschool community, or to anybody that may find this useful. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and end now. I'm going to stop sharing. Let me see here. Let me come back to the broadcast. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to see it says, no questions. I've been playing with it while listening to you. Thanks, Natalie. I'm not scared to try it now. Yes, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, it can be like, what? But once you get going and play around with it, you'll realize that, oh, this is something I can deal with, right? I can deal with it. And so it doesn't become so scary. And that was the goal that I had. So I appreciate you all popping on. And again, if you have any other questions later, let me know if I can help you with anything in reference to this, definitely. And I hope to do other trainings that may be useful as well. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to close out. I don't see any other questions. So thank you so much. And again, make sure you subscribe, okay? All right. And hit the notifications too. So when you subscribe, there's a little bell next to it. Hit that too. All right. Okay. All right. No questions left. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Bye bye.